Welcome back to World of Immersion. Today we have a very special video. We're going to be ranking the top 10 rides at one of my favorite theme parks in the entire world, and that is EFTELING. Now recently we had the chance to visit EFTELING for the very first time. This was a park that I was so excited to visit my entire life, and let me tell you, this park did not disappoint. It is one of the best themed parks in the entire world. I highly recommend going out to visit this park if you have the opportunity to. Honestly, there are no bad rides in this entire park, so this top 10 list was very hard to come up with. I genuinely enjoyed every single ride at this park. I think there's incredible theming. The park takes amazing care of each and every one of their attractions, and this park just truly is incredible. If you want to see just where it ranks in our top 10 theme parks, be sure to check out that video. I will link it in the description below. But without further ado, let's get right into this top 10 list. Now, starting off at number 10 is going to be the only non-themed ride in this entire park, honestly, and that is Python, the steel roller coaster. Now, upon first glance, you might think this is one of those old Vekoma looping coasters, and you might think it's going to be very rough. However, I do want to say that this is one of the smoothest, if not the smoothest roller coaster I have ever been on. It almost feels unrealistically smooth. It is crazy. The transitions are completely smoothed over. They retract pretty much the entire thing. But that being said, the loops are definitely pretty intense, and the corkscrews provide a little bit of hang time. My only issue with this ride is it's a little bit short, and like I said, it just does not have theming at all. And while the rest of the park is incredibly themed, it's hard for me to rank this any higher. But that's not to say it's not a bad ride, and like I said in the beginning of the video, the park takes amazing care of each and every one of their rides, and this one is absolutely a part of that. Them going in and retracking the entire ride was absolutely an amazing decision because this ride is buttery smooth. And one other funny thing that I noticed is that the lift hill is incredibly slow. It was probably the slowest lift hill I have ever seen on a roller coaster. That's not really a hit to the ride, it's just a little funny thing that I noticed. But moving on to number 9 is going to be something that actually isn't a ride, but I felt like I absolutely had to include it in this list, and that is the amazing Fairy Tale Forest. Now this is a walk-through experience. You can walk at your own pace. It is a huge attraction. In fact, I do believe this was the first ever attraction at EFTELING, but they have absolutely expanded it over the years. You get to walk through all of the different fairy tales, the old Grimm's fairy tales. There are a ton of them. There are so many animatronics. There are so many things to look at. We just kept walking through this. You could walk through this for hours. You could probably spend an entire day just in the Fairy Tale Forest, which is absolutely insane. But this is amazing. It feels very much like an old school Disney attraction. And just overall, this attraction is really amazing. I highly recommend checking out if you get the chance to visit EFTELING because it is very unique and absolutely one of a kind. I don't think there's anything at any other park that even comes close to this scale of walkthrough experience. It truly is amazing and absolutely is a great opening day attraction for the park. And I'm really glad that they've kept it up and maintained it the way that they do. All of the animatronics work beautifully, and it's just amazing to walk around. And coming in at number 8 is Vogal Rock. Now, this is an indoor family coaster, and wow, let me tell you, this is one incredible family coaster. Truly one of the best indoor coasters I think I've ever been on. It's got fantastic onboard audio. It's a very long ride. Feels almost like EFTELING's version of Space Mountain, except obviously it's got a very different theme. But you are flying through the stars. You encounter birds and eggs and everything. This ride is just great. Honestly, was completely surprised with this ride. I had no clue what to expect from it. I only knew that it was a roller coaster. That's absolutely all I knew about it, and this ride was amazing. Also, some of the best operations I've ever seen on any coaster. This line was flying. It was a huge indoor queue, but it moved super fast. We barely waited only 15 minutes for this ride. Highly recommend checking this one out if you're visiting EFTELING. It truly is a masterpiece of an indoor coaster. Now, coming in at number 7 is one of the most iconic rides of all of EFTELING, and that is Baron 1898. Now, this is definitely a great B&M dive. While the layout itself is not crazy inspiring, it's definitely one of the weaker B&M dives in terms of that. The theming is what really makes this ride. The pre-show is incredible. The queue once you get indoors is also amazing. The animatronic right before you board is amazing as well. And that little pre-lift, pre-show section is also incredible. That lift structure might be one of the greatest, if not the best lift structures I've ever seen. It is so well themed. It's pulling you up and then it dives you right down into that mist. That drop is great. It's buttery smooth as most B&M dives are. And the inversions are great as well. There's one really solid pop of airtime too towards the end of the ride, which I was not expecting at all. Just a great all-around coaster. But like I said, it's still just a B&M dive, and it's a little bit uninteresting in terms of what the coaster has to offer. The theming is what really makes this ride great. Now, just barely missing our top 5, coming in at number 6 is Jorus Dra. Now, this is a dueling GCI coaster, and this ride is really, really fun. Honestly, it is more of a family coaster than a throw coaster, but it is buttery smooth. The racing element is amazing as well. There's some really solid pops of airtime throughout the layout, and I love how when you finish the ride, it raises the flags in the station and cheers for you of the team that won. I think that's great. It adds a lot of interactivity and re-rideability to this ride. There is a decent amount of the ride that also has the new Titan track, so it is very, very smooth. My only little issue is that it is a little bit short of a ride, but honestly, it's not that bad. And I do love how there's both sides, and I love that it's a racing coaster. I think racing coasters are a ton of fun, and this one is absolutely no joke. It is one of the best coasters in EFTELING, in my opinion. Now, coming in at number 5 is a ride that completely shocked me. I had no clue what to expect from this ride. All I knew is that it was a water coaster. Now, forgive me for mispronouncing this name. Die Vliegende Hollander, I believe is what it's called, or the Flying Dutchman, I think is what it translates to. This is a amazing water coaster. Now, while the coaster itself is not very exciting, the coaster section is just alright, to be honest. It is really that dark ride scene before you go up the lift that is incredible. One of the best dark ride scenes I have ever seen in my life. I don't want to spoil it too much, but pretty much you are lost out at sea, and there is a crazy surprise that comes out of nowhere. Honestly, I knew absolutely nothing about this ride going in, and I was completely shocked. This ride is truly incredible, a masterpiece of dark ride design. And that station building might be one of the best stations I've ever seen in my life. The queue is also incredible, one of the best queues. It is super immersive. You go into the porch and you enter the dream of the captain, and he's telling a story throughout the ride. It is amazing. This ride is truly one of a kind, absolutely one of EFTELING's best attractions. And coming in at number 4 is Fata Morgana. Now, this ride is also amazing. I had absolutely no clue what to expect with this one. Even upon entering the ride, it doesn't seem like that much. The station building is not super interesting. It looks almost like it's going to be similar to It's a Small World. But let me tell you, this ride is nothing like Small World. This is almost their version of Pirates of the Caribbean. It's a slow-moving boat ride, and these sets are truly incredible. Some of the biggest sets I've ever seen on a ride ever. There are a ton of animatronics everywhere, including one incredibly huge animatronic that was out of nowhere. It's a super long ride. Honestly, just one of the best boat rides I've ever experienced. This ride is kind of tucked away. It's not towards the back of the park. It's actually towards the front, but it's kind of in an awkward position, and it's hard to get there unless you are actively searching for it. So be sure to look for this ride. Be sure to check it out. It's kind of in its own area of the park, but it is amazing. Honestly, a great ride. And while it is similar to Pirates of the Caribbean, the theming is very, very different, so I wouldn't compare the two that much. But now moving on to our top 3, and all 3 of these rides are world-class rides. But coming in at number 3 is going to be the newest ride at EFTELING, and that is Dance Macab. This ride is insane. Once again, a ride that I had absolutely no clue what to expect going in, and I was completely blown away. This is one of the most innovative ride systems I have ever seen, and truly is a masterpiece of storytelling. Throughout the queue, you learn the story and the backstory with the pre-show of what is going on in this ride, and then that ride system is truly amazing. I don't want to spoil it too much, like I said, but really you are just in one room, and the entire room around you transforms, and the ride vehicles move, and almost like a synchronous dancing. It is incredible. It has some crazy surprises too that I did not expect whatsoever, and just an incredible ride overall. This feels like almost as if like an old school Disney ride was made modern. It was amazing. Honestly, really, really proud of EFTELING for how good this ride is. You can absolutely tell that they have continued to keep up their quality of entertainment coming into the 21st century. And moving on to number 2 is another world-class dark ride, and that is going to be Symbolica. Now, originally I had this at number 1 in the park, but after a more careful consideration, I've decided to move it to number 2. This ride, though, is truly incredible. Don't let its placement at number 2 steer you away from riding this ride. It truly is a magical experience. Honestly, the closest I would compare any dark ride on the planet to a Disney dark ride. This ride has pure magic. It truly is an amazing experience. Going through every scene, you feel the magic of the castle around you. That pre-show is incredible as well. One of the best pre-shows I've ever seen on a ride ever. That staircase opens right up, all the fog is there, and you walk right in. The queue is also amazingly well themed, and the trackless ride vehicles really do it justice. There are some huge scenes in there with some great animatronics, and some really cool special effects that I still don't even know how they do. What's also amazing about this ride is that it's kind of a choose your own adventure where you choose which path you want to go on before you board the ride vehicle. And while you're on the ride vehicle, it's interactive as well. There are buttons that you can press that interact with different elements of the ride, which is very, very cool. This ride is truly incredible, a world-class ride from EFTELING, and it is insane to me that an independent park like this is able to build a ride that is to the scale, if not better, than a good chunk of Disney and Universal dark rides. But like I said, after some more consideration, I have decided to put Dream Flight at number 1. Now I know this is not the original name for the ride, but this is the English name for it, and I'm not sure if I can pronounce the Dutch version, so I'm going to go with Dream Flight for this, but this ride is truly out of this world. One of the best dark rides I have ever been through. These scenes in here are so incredibly massive and so well detailed, some of the biggest scenes I've ever seen in my life. Also, the transitions between the scenes are amazing as well. You're on the suspended ride vehicle, and it goes fast at 1.2, which is crazy, but these sets, like I said, are just massive. It is insane to me that they were able to build sets this big with that much detail. Everywhere you look in all of these scenes, there's so much to see. One of my personal favorite scenes is the scene where you are out in space and you see all the floating planets with the castles on them. That is truly a magical part of the ride. And just overall, it is one of the best dark rides I've ever been on in my life. It truly is an incredible world-class attraction and a great ride to check out at EFTELING. But what's amazing about EFTELING, in my opinion, is that there's no standout ride. There are just so many incredible rides, so any one of these could be your favorite. So be sure to comment down below what your favorite ride at EFTELING is. I know there are going to be tons of different opinions because this park is truly incredible. There are so many amazing attractions. But I think that one thing that we can all agree on is that EFTELING is just an amazing park and absolutely one that everybody needs to visit at some point in their life. Truly one of the most unique parks I've ever seen. But that's going to do it for our video today. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss when we have brand new content. We have tons of content coming out from Europe in the next few days, so be sure to stay tuned for all of those. But thank you so much for watching today's video, and we'll catch you in the next one.